Hello and welcome to Working Crass Podcast, where we talk about the horse shit going on in our lives and everyone's lives. Right? That was originally our title. Was horse shit.
Yeah, it was.
And then it was going to be That's Horse Shit or It's Horse Shit.
It's all horse shit.
Yeah.
Horse shit is horse shit.
We're still talking about horse shit, but we decided not to go with that name.
Yeah.
But here's the horse shit going on in the world now. Oh, by the way, my name is Joshua, and that's Lauren.
Hello.
And we're doing this podcast. All right, here we go. Here are the companies pulling back from Russia. So a lot of companies are pulling back from Russia. This is the big hot story. This is the horse shit going on now.
Yep. This has been what's dominating the news for the past, how many days has it been? How many weeks has it been? How many years has it been?
It's been a few years, it feels like now. Yeah, it's a lot. Would you fight for your country? If they were coming over here, right? We all knew they're coming to invade our country. Would you flee or would you stay and fight?
Are we talking about like the commies are coming to invade, or who's coming to invade?
Does it matter?
I need to know the who. I think it does.
There's certain ones you would flee for and certain ones you would stay for?
Perhaps. I want to know the parameters.
Yeah. You'd be like, if it's the Japanese, I'll stay. I could take them. If it's Australians, I'll stick around. Okay, let's say the Russians. The Russians come after us.
Yeah, I'll stay and fight.
You'll stay and fight. You.
Yeah.
Itty bitty little tiny little girl you.
Yeah.
Would you kill a cockroach if it was in our apartment?
No. Absolutely
But
not.
you will stay and fight the Russians.
Well, cockroaches are disgusting. Like that's terrifying.
They did a poll, and they I don't know who did it. I just saw a poll online that the majority of liberals said they would flee. The majority of conservatives said they would stay and fight, which is like, yeah, no fucking brainer, duh, doy. But
I would like make a big. I want like a giant sized bowl of borscht. Like I'm talking like comically large.
Yes.
A comically large bowl of borscht, and I'd have people with like snorkels hiding in the giant bowl of borscht.
Oh, it's a trap.
Like a Trojan horse, but a Trojan borscht.
Trojan borscht.
Yeah,
okay.
I offer it to the Russians. I go, enjoy, comrades. Please enjoy this fine bowl of borscht. And then
we can't possibly decline.
Borscht? Oh no, we love borscht. And then, when they least expect it, those little snorkels pop up, and it's all my little fighter people.
All your little fighter men that you've recruited to sneak at the borscht.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's my tactic.
That's a pretty good tactic.
Thanks.
We need you in the army. We need you.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you're in the government, you know who to recruit to win this war.
I got lots of ideas. Most of them involve borscht.
Come to think of it, all of them involve borscht. I ain't got a single idea without borscht in it. Well, Lauren, a bunch of companies are pulling back from Russia. Did you know this?
Yeah, I've heard a few of them.
So these are the things you can't get in Russia, okay? Which this affects Putin the most, right? Not the people of Russia. They're fine, right?
No, never. Only Putin, never the people.
Ford is suspending its operations in Russia.
So no cars.
No cars. General Motors, Toyota, Volkswagen, Nissan.
So no cars.
Yes. Boeing, no planes. Boeing, Airbus.
So no planes, no cars. So Russians are going to have to take the train, or they're going to have to walk.
Yes.
Or, maybe Russians are going to have to start using those like motorized unicycle things.
What are those?
I saw
motorized unicycle.
Yeah, we were at a show last weekend, and there was a guy who had a motorized unicycle.
Really?
He brought it with him.
I've seen like the motorized like boards with like the one wheel.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Except it didn't have a board. He could like sit on the thing.
Wow. Weird.
And it just...
Wow.
You didn't see that guy?
No, I didn't see that guy.
Yeah, he was there. I didn't imagine him.
No, I believe
it was not
you.
a fever dream. It was real.
Interesting. Big tech. So Apple has stopped selling its products in Russia. You can't get an iPhone, can't get an iPod.
Can't listen to your tunes.
Facebook has blocked access to Russian news outlets. Twitter has announced plans to reduce the visibility. So that's pretty much their sticking around.
Honestly, I think banning Facebook and Twitter in Russia, that's just going to make the population happier, if anything. That might have done the opposite.
Definitely, 100%. Netflix said it's suspending its streaming service. Given the circumstances on the ground, we have decided to suspend our service in Russia.
So no movies.
Yeah, no Stranger Things for people in Russia. So I guess what I'm getting at here is that this is like the first war where cancel culture is really being used as a weapon, right? I mean, that's kind of interesting. I think it's interesting. Don't you think so?
It feels like we are taking the same approach with Russia that parents take with their children. We're grounding them.
Yes.
We're taking away their phones.
No iPhones.
No video games. No movies.
No black belt. The Taekwondo removed Putin's.
You give me that black belt.
You give me that black belt. You don't know Taekwondo anymore. Did you know that when the Taekwondo Association took Putin's black belt and revoked it, he forgot how to do all that Taekwondo?
Yeah,
he goes, what? What?
His hands just went limp. I don't know.
Oh, no. I feel weak.
I feel weak.
No, it's canceled.
The night is long and I feel weak without my black belt.
It's cancel culture, but it's good cancel culture, right? It's pretty much Putin and Louis C.K. have the exact same punishment, right?
Yeah, as they should.
Like Putin, if he drops another bomb, he needs to be careful because if he drops another bomb, they're not giving him a Netflix special. He's not getting his Netflix development deal, right?
Putin jerked off in Ukraine's face without their consent. Therefore,
Putin locked the door and jerked off in front of female comedians
in Ukraine. I believe that's what happened.
And then tried to cover it up. This is exactly what happened. It's the perfect metaphor. That's funny. Yeah, I heard that Second City says Putin is not allowed at their LGBT open mic anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's really progress. That's progress. That's cancel culture for the good. For the good of the world. Hey, everyone, if you're listening, please spread hashtag cancel Putin around the internet.
Yeah, and everyone, if you're listening, go to your Facebook pages or your Instagram pages and change your profile picture to have a frame that says, "We stand with Ukraine," and literally the war will end.
And literally the war will end. Well, okay, so this is the other side of the coin because most of the people who are sharing "I stand with Ukraine" are left-leaning. And, of course, right-leaning people, their take on this is just like, I want to let us drop the bombs on Ukraine. Hey, we'll join Putin's fight. Well, it's crazy. But the left side of it, I think, should realize that if all of their gun control laws were enacted in Ukraine before this had happened, all the Ukrainians would be dead. Ukraine has really, I was looking this up today, has pretty relaxed gun laws. They can have lots of guns.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, they're known as the gun supermarket of the,
wow.
Yeah. So, just saying. The argument is always like, when are you ever going to need an assault rifle? Oh, is the government going to come after your guns? What? Well, maybe somebody else's government might, like in this situation where it was really good that they were all armed, right? Like, how much of a deterrent is that for America to know for if you're a leader of another country and you're thinking of attacking America, that's probably a pretty good deterrent. Like, hey, we can't go fight them. All of their citizens are armed.
Yeah, that is
and
a
the
good
price
point.
the price we pay for that is that sometimes kids get shot in schools. If we're protected from a Russian invasion, does it weigh itself out?
That's also a really good question. Russian invasion versus school shooting.
Stephen Colbert said that the high gas prices are a price he's willing to pay for doing the right thing when it comes to Russia. Do you think that children dying in school shootings is the price to pay for our security here in America?
I think we should sacrifice all the children.
All the children?
Yeah,
Let's put them all in a borscht.
let's put them all in a borscht. That's my other plan.
They'll be safe in a borscht. All the children will be safe as long as they are in borscht. Wow.
No, we put all the children in those little dolls that get smaller and smaller and smaller.
We make the children into Russian nesting dolls, and then we put them in a borscht, and we put that borscht in a bigger borscht, and we put that borscht in a bigger borscht.
And it will just confuse them. It will confuse them, and then they'll be like...
I don't know. Russians are pretty good at this technology that you're describing. I don't think they'll be very confused. I think as soon as they see a giant borscht, they'll go, probably smaller borscht inside that borscht. Probably smaller children inside of the children in the borscht.
But they get really amused by it.
Oh, that's right. They will. They'll stand around and sing old folk Russian songs.
Yeah, they'll be like, this reminds me of the old country.
It reminds me of home. I love war. Reminds me of home. Well, if you're listening, U.S. government, borscht, that is on the menu. Oh, man. What other things have they banned? Airbnb.
No hotels.
No hotel?
You can't stay.
Well, Airbnb isn't a hotel.
But you can't stay on a friend's couch. You're grounded. You can't go out to your friend's house.
YouTube, but it's not banned. It's just they're significantly limiting recommendations to Russian channels.
So they're putting the parental lock
Yes.
on
correct.
channels. Got it.
That's correct. Lots of energy, BP, Exxon, Shell. Wow. Lots of finance. Disney. Now that's a big one. That's a big, important one. The entertainment giant had multiple films set for release in Russia in the coming months that includes Marvel's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. The poor Russians can't see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. What if that starts the nuclear war? Putin is like, you can take everything from us, but you can't take Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I've been waiting years. Push the button!
I find this interesting that where Disney draws the line, because
Oh, they're fine with China.
yeah, they're fine with China. China can literally, kill its own citizens and harvest their organs.
Disney will make a movie about it, a sweet, heartfelt movie about
and applaud them and
Yep.
And write them a thank you in the credits. But but they draw the line at you invade Ukraine.
Disney presents a heartwarming tale about a little Uyghur boy.
Who's actually a dumpling at night. He turns into a dumpling.
He turns into a dumpling. Rob Schneider
is Rob Schneider.
Oh.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider is little Uyghur dumpling.
I'd see that movie.
They're not going to release Pixar's Lightyear, which is the Buzz Lightyear story.
No Buzz Lightyear. No Buzz Lightyear.
No Buzz Lightyear. No planet Earth. Bomb all. Bomb all. Warner Media said Monday that it would pause the release of The Batman in Russia. No Robert Pattinson Batman. Bomb all. H&M, IKEA.
So no cheaply made clothing. That's a weird one. H&M. I'm pretty sure their clothes are made in like sweatshops and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you can't sell them in Russia. You got to stop this shit.
Our sweatshop children will no longer be providing clothing to Russia. Got it. Only the good boys and girls can get clothing from sweatshop children.
84% of McDonald's locations in Russia are operated by the company, and they have closed its Russian restaurants. No chicken McNuggets.
I am looking for nuggets. Where can I get nuggets?
Yum Brands, which own KFC, Pizza Hut. I didn't know that KFC and Pizza Hut were owned by Yum Brands. That's their name. That's kind of an interesting name. Yum.
No fried chicken, no pizza, no nuggies. Borscht, only borscht.
Putin needs his yums. I can't do a Russian accent. I keep going German. That last one was a bit Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I always do.
I need my yums. I'll be back. I have to get my yums. My yummy wummies in my tummies.
To get it to Russian, I always do. I am looking for moose and squirrel.
Oh, yeah.
You can't
That's
have
a
to
good
go
one.
on the back of your throat.
That is right. I'm looking for moose and squirrel. Squirrel.
Yeah, sound like you're gagging.
Squirrel.
Sound like you're gagging on some borscht.
The borscht. All right. Well, that's a lot of Russia. That's a lot of Russia.
So Putin is grounded. Russia's grounded.
Russia is grounded. Putin's in trouble.
Ooh, you gotta go to the principal's office.
Putin's gonna get his little pooter spanked.
Ooh,
I'm Putin, not my pooter. Uh-oh. You know, most of this podcast is going to be voices. Whoopsie, it's me, Putin. Don't spank my pooter. Boo. All right, let's move on.
Alrighty.
I thought this was kind of interesting. I have a few things to say about this. Wisconsin parents school... Let me start over. Wisconsin parents sue school district over gender pronoun policy. Now, this is what I found interesting about this. A group of parents sued a Wisconsin school district on Wednesday over a policy that allows students to change their names and gender pronoun preference without their parents' consent while they're at school. I thought that's hilarious. What do you think about that?
I mean,
do you know why I think that's funny?
Do tell.
Because your parents don't know and you're at school and you get to do whatever you want, and then your freaking stupid parents are at home and they can't do fucking shit about it. I can say my name's Doo-Doo Monster for all I want, and the teachers have to call me that, and my parents can't say shit about it. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
If you could pick your name at school, what would it be?
Trizzle.
Trizzle is a great name. I actually had a good friend that I guess I'm just giving away his name here in high school. His name was Matt Trizzle. And
really?
Maybe it was Trizzler. It's Trizzler. Anyway, I'm just throwing his name out there for anyone to go look him up. Look this guy up. Find his family.
Give him some borscht.
Give them some borscht. No, I knew a guy, speaking of, just changing your name at school, I knew a guy in college, and the very first time I ever met him, people were going up to him and go, "What's up, Fruit Loop? Hey, Fruit Loop, how's it going?" And I found out from one of his friends that in middle school, he had stood up in the middle of class. His name was like Kyle or something plain. And he stood up in the middle of class in middle school and said, "Y'all call me Fruit Loop now." And that was it. His name was Fruit Loop forever on. And everyone called him Fruit Loop. Now that's what's happening here, is it's not?
I think
Doesn't
so.
matter what the parents say at home.
No, it doesn't. You can be anything you want.
You can be anything you want.
You can be anything you want.
Yeah. And the teachers have to enforce or have to, call them by whatever the student decides. Is that correct? I like this too, because when I was a teacher, which I was for 3 years, I would say Jerome, and he'd say, "My name is Jamal." And I'd say, "Your name is whatever I say it is." Because I'm the fucking teacher. If I want to call you Jerome, I'll call you Jerome, dude. So I like this rule. I think if the school's allowed to change the kid's name without the consent of the parents, hey, I'm all for it. One student's parents said they had their daughter removed from the Kettle Moraine School District to protect her mental health and preserve their parental role after the student asked to be called a different name and go by male pronouns at school. The parents claimed the school had violated their constitutional rights because parents have an inherent right to be the primary decision makers in their children's lives.
Disgusting.
Parents have the right to be the primary decision makers in their children's lives?
Disgusting. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all.
When we have a kid.
Yeah, and if he tells me I want to go buy Taco Bell Gordita Crunchwrap Supreme, I'm going to say, you know what?
It's not up to us.
It's not my decision. You decide that for yourself. You get to choose that.
It's just not up to us, son.
If you want to believe that you're a Gordita Crunchwrap, that's on you.
That's on you. Oh, he doesn't want a Gordita Crunchwrap. He wants to be a Gordita. I must have missed "be" in your sentence.
Yeah.
I'm still okay with it. We can't do anything about it,
Well, it's not our decision.
That's right. It's not our decision.
Our hands are tied.
Our hands are tied.
Literally. Our hands are tied. We can't do anything.
We tied them.
I
tied hers. She tied mine. We just can't do anything, son.
We can't.
Another student's parents say they joined the lawsuit so the same thing couldn't happen to their child. Oh, so parents are getting scared that this kind of thing is going to happen to their kids. I don't know why parents are so scared.
Because they know their kids are shit. They're like, I know my kid. He will identify as Doo-Doo Monster Supreme.
My kid will be Gordito Crunch.
I'm pulling him out. He will do it. Do not give him this option. That's why.
I wish these parents would just let go. And, if you're a parent and you're listening and you have kids, I don't care if your kid is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't care if your kid just came out of the womb. You don't have an inherent right to decide what your child does. They should decide for themselves. If your kid is holding a fork and is about to put it into an electrical socket, you're going to stop them?
You don't have the right to stop them. That's on them. Your hands are tied.
Stop them and you go to jail, okay?
Yeah.
Let's make this clear. You stop your child from doing something they want to do, you should rot in prison.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Now, is there anything to be said that these types of policies are made by people who feel like, Mom and Dad, I'm so sick and tired of what Mom and Dad telling me what to do. Mom and Dad should have no control over me. Does that have anything to do with this at all? No.
Maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit. I also think that some of it comes from a place of they're worried that there are parents who do take things to the extreme and where they're not, open at all towards their kids, inclinations towards certain things. And in some cases that anything taken to an extreme can be, troublesome.
You're saying like if there was a legitimate like trans child, which unlikely, but possible.
Probably when you're thinking statistically, the actual statistics show that's relatively, small population of people.
Right. But in those situations, it is possible that their home life isn't necessarily accepting, and the idea is that this is the way for the school to be a safe place for them to come and be themselves and not have to worry about the stresses of being at home, which I understand that.
Right. You don't want to put a kid in an actual, like, dangerous or abusive home situation.
Right. Absolutely.
But I think in trying so hard to protect that, and I think those instances are probably, again, statistically, I think they're
far and few between.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And maybe in the past it was different, but I think over time that's probably changed. And I also think it really depends on a whole host of factors, from like socioeconomic factors, geographic location.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a whole host of factors that might make a home situation more or less likely to be distressing to that student.
Yeah.
In this situation.
I'll just say it, and this might be a brave thing, or this might be a completely cowardly thing. I'm just sick of the pronoun stuff. I'm sick of talking about it.
Yeah, me too.
But you got to do it, folks, because you gotta stay in the game. And if I post this as just its own thing, it'll get 2 million, 3 million views, because the trans and pronoun subject, it's popular. It's a big one. Yeah. It gets a lot of attention on both sides.
Yeah.
If you say the wrong thing, you'll get a lot of attention on both sides. If you say the right thing, you'll get a lot of attention on both sides, depending on what they think is right and wrong.
Yep.
It's big, and that's why we got to talk about it. What do you think about the trans community, Lauren? This is why we got to talk about it. When I first meet someone for the first time, I say, "Hi, what's your name? What do you think about the trans community?" I had a job interview the other day. They said, what is your experience? And I said, shut up. Talk to me about the trans community.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't know.
A guy at the show, did a comedy show a couple nights ago, and he was like, make me a campaign song, because he was running for office. And that was my favorite thing. He's like, say something controversial then. we were like trying to come up with ideas for the song. We're like, say the most controversial thing. This is the funniest thing, to like, if he's running for office, then what I want to hear you say is what's going to get you fired and never give you a chance. That's exactly what I want to hear. That's what we should have said. What do you think about the trans stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think, parents should have no rights.
He ended his set. He did stand up, and he ended his set with, I'm running for office. Do you guys have any questions? And he asked 8 times. That's not even an exaggeration. That was the end of the set. Was he asked 8 times, and no one had any questions. A few people had some questions. Oh, man. Okay. This is enough about our personal lives here.
But again, I'll just say it again. I think
you got a hot take on trannies here? What is it?
I said parents should have no rights.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no rights. You should have no rights.
No rights over your own child whatsoever.
Yeah,
it's your own child. The
minute the head comes out of the snatch,
it's not yours.
It's not yours. They get to decide what they do in life from then on out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say I'll say after. No, because I think you should still be able to abort it for a couple weeks after that. So I think.
Oh, no. Oh, my.
So it's. When is it no longer your body and when is it their body? Let's say, because this is saying that it's their body very early on, right? I mean, in development, and it's, as a parent, you can't control. You can't have any control. Let's say.
Yeah, so this is actually a very pro-life.
This is a very pro-life article.
This is a very pro-life article, but also the argument.
Yeah.
From that school is a very pro-life school.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's why they're taking their kids out, because they're just like, ugh.
Ugh. We need abortions.
Trust me, I want to abort this kid every day. I'm taking him out of this damn school.
A group of parents sued a Wisconsin school for aborting their child.
They said I couldn't. He's 12 years old and I couldn't abort him. Well, I'll show you.
I'll show you. I'll take him to school, have them abort him for me.
That's what I thought this was going to be.
Dadgummit. That's a redneck who's really into abortions. Yeah. The one redneck who's pro-choice.
Yeah.
I want an abortion, goddammit. Got to get that goddamn baby out of me. Tain't no baby, it's my body. It's just like ripping off a mole. I done that before. Who need to go to the doctor? I got myself a coat hanger right there. Come on now. Get on up there, Frankie. Line up, kids. You're going to go get aborted one by one. All right, now, here we go. Tallest to shortest now. All right. So this is the last thing I wanted to talk about. But before I do want to remind everyone that Working Crass Podcast is on Instagram at Working Crass Pod. We have video episodes available on YouTube. We are hosted on Buzzsprout, but our podcast can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. So if you're listening, thank you very much. If you are listening on one of those platforms, but you didn't know we were on the other one, go check us out. And definitely go give us a follow on Instagram at Working Crass Pod. I'm worried I'm going to say Working Class at some point in time, and that's not the name of the podcast. Okay, cool. And if you enjoyed the little designs on our video today, and you've watched them, we do have new logos and everything. Go check out zooardesign.com. I'll put the link in the description, but that's where the designs come from. Cool. The last thing I want to talk about. Oh, go ahead.
And if you enjoy a nice bowl of borscht, you know where to find me. Just hit me up online. I'll come to your house. It'll be comically large, and army men may or may not jump out of that bowl of borscht.
And there might be little army men inside of those army men. That's funny.
Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
No. Awesome. So if you're watching on YouTube, our last portion here, we're going to watch a video here. So we're going to watch a clip from good old Colbert. Both you and I are big Colbert fans, or at least used to be. And then he started The Late Show, just to give everyone a little bit of a background here. Colbert used to be on a show called The Colbert Report. That was hilarious.
Hilarious.
Then he took over David Letterman's job at The Late Show and started out doing a great job for a little bit there. But he wasn't getting the ratings.
No.
He just wasn't getting those ratings. And so they infamously hired this guy named Chris Licht. I'm assuming it's Licht. 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 And this guy had created Morning Joe over on MSNBC, I believe is where Morning Joe comes on. And he, had a background in news. And
what? There's nothing funnier than the news.
Yeah.
Like, if you want somebody who knows comedy,
and
you
comedy,
go to the news.
I've always known that, always heard that comedy is about truth, right? Is about telling the truth. And no one tells the truth better than mainstream news networks.
Oh, yeah. They're experts at the
truth. At the truth.
They do truth better than anybody.
110%. That's what the original Daily Show was all about, is how the media always tells the truth.
Yeah.
That was Jon Stewart's main message about the media, right?
I'm pretty sure Jon Stewart, his whole show was, let's applaud how good the media are doing at telling the truth. They're like the bravest truth tellers that we have. Give them a round of congratulations.
So Colbert starts the Late Show, and it's not getting good ratings. They hire on Chris Licht, this news guy. Well, now Chris Licht is done with the Late Show. He's kind of done what he needed to do. Colbert was number one for a long time. I think now he's second to what's the Fox News guy that does comedy?
Gutfeld?
Gutfeld, yeah. Gutfeld, I think, is number one right now, which is hilarious. But not Gutfeld, but just the fact that he's number one.
Huge Gutfeld fans right here. We love the Gut Man.
We love that Gut Man, and
that's what he's known in the inner circles. He's called the Gut Man, the Gutster.
So anyway, so let's talk about Chris Licht leaving.
I'm thinking of starting a fan club.
Gutfeld?
A Gutfeld fan club, and we're just called Gut Stuff.
That's funny. Matt and Shane do a lot of stuff about Gutfeld. It's really funny. They have a lot of inside jokes about it. All right, cool. Here is Colbert's farewell to Chris Licht, who is leaving this comedy show that he created to go run CNN.
John, we got a lovely guest tonight. Star of Better Call Saul, Bob Odenkirk is here tonight. An amazing performer, old friend from back in the Chicago days. Can't wait to talk to him.
Yes, indeed.
But folks, first off, I hope everybody here understands that we are not news. We here at The Late Show watch the news like you do and have a reaction like you do.
Now, I'm going to stop here because as soon as he said, I hope you understand we are not the news, I know a lot of people who watch this show probably went, I do watch this show for the news. This is my source for the news. I can name at least one person who has told us explicitly that this is his source for the news.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's where we are. And if your show is not supposed to be a source for the news, why is your showrunner a former news runner, right? A news head. Why is your former showrunner the creator of one of the biggest news shows? And why are they going on to run CNN?
Because CNN is the greatest comedy program of all time. He's graduated from The Late Show to CNN, the height of comedy.
Yeah. I just want to tell all of our fans that we're not the news, but we are to be trusted at all points in time, and we never lie. And if you have any opinion that's different than ours, it's the wrong one.
And if you ever question us on anything, you're literally
stupid.
Hitler.
Stupid Hitler. All right.
My reaction to this weekend is that no one has covered the big story like the team over at CNN. Jim, put up that headline. Executive producer and showrunner of The Late Show, Chris Licht, has been selected as the next president of CNN.
So my next favorite thing here was the one person in the audience who is a plant for Stephen Colbert going, woo, to get everyone to start going, oh, we're clapping for this. Oh, we're clapping for the billionaires all congratulating each other.
Yeah, they also have the planted woo-woo lady.
Woo-woo lady?
Who's just like a little too excited for CNN, just like a, woo, CNN, woo.
I'm sorry, I got to pick up these paper towels. Had a long day at work. Oh, what do? I'm the woo lady. I woo-hoo at the shows that people watch. I'm just the woo-hoo lady. I gotta pick up my paper towels. Let's go. I'm tired. I had a long day of woo-hooing. Oh, man.
I woo-hooed all day. I've earned my right to take my bra off and take my shoes off and kick back and relax, god damn it.
I earned my right to have my borscht in private. I'm the woo-hoo lady, damn it. Oh, man.
That right there. Good photo. It's a good photo. That is what's called breaking news. Our own Chris Licht, right over there at that podium, is leaving this show to take over CNN. I trained the next president of CNN. So, I believe legally, CNN now stands for the Colbert News Network.
Now, is this any different than just watching millionaires suck each other's dicks?
Sadder.
Sadder. Oh,
A little
yeah.
sadder.
This is much sadder. Yeah.
A little sadder.
Yeah. It's just
Because at least there's pleasure derived when the millionaires are actually sucking the dicks. There's no pleasure here.
what's really sad is any person in the audience who's like a tourist who is like excited to come to this and saved up money to go to New York, and they're going to go home and like live in their, one bedroom house, and, they can't afford gas and they're very, very poor. But so happy that Chris Licht got to be the president of CNN.
I'm so
And
happy
I'm so happy that Colbert's happy for his boss.
I'm so happy that this one rich man is happy for another rich man to get even richer.
Yeah. And also, is this comedy?
Yes.
Congratulating. Is this a comedy bit congratulating your I guess he might not be his boss. I mean, he is the showrunner, so I guess he is in some ways his boss. He did tell him how to make the show more about Trump in order to get to the number one. Here's what you got to do, Colbert. You got to go Trump, and then you got to do a little Trump, and then don't forget the Trump. And you're going to be number one pretty soon, baby. And CNN was like, let's get that guy as our president.
CNN was like, I noticed we haven't been doing enough Trump lately. Who can get us back on the Trump train?
We want someone who's got a Trump-a-dump-rump.
Get us Colbert's guy. He does a lot of Trump.
He does a lot of Trump. Get us Colbert. Get us Chris Dicht. Sir, I think it's licked.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Dick.
I'm pretty sure it's Dicht. Licked, Dicht. But not, there used to be a thing when you and I were younger, and I don't know if anybody remembers this. It's pretty old. It was called selling out. And it was this thing. No, hear me out. It was a thing that artists used to do when they their goal wasn't, art or making people laugh or creating something original. Their goal was just to kind of like be liked and make money and play the mainstream game. And we would call that selling out, and it would make us not like the artist. It doesn't. I know.
That's like, whoa.
I know.
That's like all the way back in the past, man. That's like so old.
It was so old. And
wow, that's like another time. That's like a lifetime. Whoa.
I know it doesn't exist and it's not really a thing anymore, but it's kind of like...
What you guys like, did you have to like, when you were trying to add numbers, did you use one of those like little bead things? Did you move the little beads across, like...
Yes, we would use an abacus. Yes, in those days we did use an abacus.
Back in the days of the sellouts, is that when you were like driving those like cars that you had to like pedal with your feet?
If you wanted to sell out, did you have to look it up in a phone book?
Is that like when the milkman still came around? Like,
oh man.
Is that when you could smoke on airplanes?
Yes. Yes. Yes, it was. You know, there was a time on airplanes where like all the stewardesses were just hot and you could smoke a cigarette and smack a stewardess's ass. Like, it's probably not a good thing that's what reality was like, but man, I wish I could go back in time and live when no one brought it up that was bad. Oh, that sounds great. I hate flying on planes. I'm so nervous on planes, but if I could smoke a little and smack a ass, I'd be so happy. All right, let's keep going.
Now, obviously, Chris is still under contract, so we're going to have to do this like a baseball trade. If CNN's taking Chris, I'm going to take Wolf Blitzer's beard. Anyone else? John, do you have any plans to take over at MSNBC?
Not till I settle my beef with Rachel Maddow.
That's true.
We got to think.
That's true. Okay, good.
Work out.
We're going to miss all sorts of things about.
And we've done like comedy stuff in a couple different states in the United States. Here, we've seen a lot of open mics and we've seen a lot of showcases. Now, those last couple jokes there, were they better than anything you've seen in an open mic from people who've never done comedy before? Were they better than that or worse than that? Or would you say equal?
Oh, it's such a good question.
I'd say I've seen some pretty equal level stuff as far as comedy goes, as far as jokes go. And I'm no expert joke writer. I'm just saying from what I've seen. I can only speak on my own experiences. I've seen open mics where people have better jokes than whatever the fuck that was.
Well, I always tell myself when I'm writing a set, when in doubt, congratulate your boss on getting more money. That is funny.
Oh, God. But even though, like, and they're going to be giving me Wolf Blitzer's beard and not after I settle my beef with Rachel Maddow. It's like, they just said, okay, to their writers room, they're like, someone make a list of CNN things. Duck? No. No. No duck. No, there's no duck at CNN. What else? Borscht. No. There's nothing quite no, not Borscht.
Trump.
Oh, close. We like that, but we talked about Trump in the last joke, so we probably can't do that. Something about CNN. Wolf Blitzer? Yeah. Wolf Blitzer's, and he has a beard. He does have a beard.
Very good.
Anybody else? Rachel Maddow.
Very good.
Very good.
Can you name another liberal news anchor?
Cuomo.
We don't say that one's name anymore.
Oh, shit. I mean, that's what the writer's room has to be like, right? At this point?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. In the Colbert writers' room, all of the writers have the right to call each other whatever pronouns they want to call each other. It doesn't matter what your parents say at home. In the Colbert writers' room, we have the right to name your child.
Chris, we're going to miss your fleece vests, your strange loyalty to the folks at Untuck It. We'll miss your stories of how many billionaires you know. And I personally...
I'm going to really miss you talking about all those billionaires, man.
Even the audience reaction to that was like, what? We'll miss all your stories about all the billionaires. And I know that's supposed to be like in a list of like jokes he's making about the guy, but that also just kind of seems like a weird like flex and not a joke, right?
Well, I'm going to say kind of sounds like, because wasn't Jeffrey Epstein a billionaire?
Was Chris licked on the logs, on the flight logs? We gotta find out. Well, we'll check the flight logs after this. I bet Chris licked might be on
You
there.
might want to check that.
Yeah.
I think that's why that audience did like the woohoo lady. She got a little quiet. She was like, I don't know, I can woohoo.
I had a bad day at work. I couldn't even woohoo to that. Normally I'm in the mood to woohoo, but you know me, I'm the woohoo lady.
You know, I'm always in the mood to woo, but not today.
Not today. And you know me, I'm the woohoo lady. That's what I do. Just not feeling it today.
Yeah, that makes me feel a little weird. They need to check into that.
Yeah. And then what do you want to bet, like, just from seeing this guy, like, on camera and stuff, like, this is the guy that's, like, when he goes home to his family, he's always on his phone, making the next deal, figuring out what they're going to do. Hey, what are we going to say about Trump tomorrow? Hey, make sure not to say anything bad about the vax. Like, that's what he texts people.
What are we going to say
Like,
about Trump tomorrow? Make sure not to say anything bad about the vax. Can I get onto Jeffrey Epstein's secret island?
Yeah. And his wife comes in and she's like, do you want some borscht? And he's like, shut up, bitch. And he punches her. I'm at work. I'm busy. I don't know. This guy seems... You think they send all of their scripts to this guy and then he's like, no, too harsh on the vax stuff. Tell them they all have to get it or they're racist. And like goes through, because somebody has to be doing the, like, this needs to be, like, when you watch it, somebody's obviously gone through and done like, it needs to be a little more left than that. This needs to be a little more left leaning than that. You can't say that. So we're going to just make the punchline what everybody else is going to have the punchline for here. Like,
Yeah.
guarantee he's the guy that, like, I mean, he's the guy they brought it in to improve the ratings, and all of a sudden the show turned into, isn't the left great? Isn't Trump bad? That's the whole show.
You gotta put the woohoo lady after those things.
Woohoo! Now that I can woohoo to.
We'll miss the frantic, flailing hand gestures when I go 38 minutes with Neil deGrasse Tyson or even mention The Lord of the Rings. And I know that all of us are really going to miss your Air Morocco white boy frat shuffle. But most of all, Chris, if I may call you Chris, most of all, we'll miss your tenacity in the face of opposition. Whether you're going to bat with a network over how many times we can say butt chug on CBS, or insisting that the staff order meatball shop for lunch, whether we like it or not, and for the record, we not. Here's the deal. You can take
Is
down
butt
his
chug
OTS.
a racy word?
Yeah, butt chug, you should not be saying. And so in honor of all the comedians on national television that, you know, struggle to be able to say butt chug, us on an independent YouTube channel will say butt chug 10 times in a row. Butt chug, 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 butt chug. And there you go. Censor that, bitch.
I'm talking to the man himself right now. You see, Chris was a bit of a stickler for the rules, right, Chris? You believe in the rules. He always said at our staff parties, have a good time, not a great time.
Hilarious. That's a hilarious joke.
Yeah, he sounds like a cool guy.
Like, honestly, like, I'd be like, dude,
You
let's
know
hang
what?
out.
I've changed my tune on Chris Licht.
He's hilarious.
He's funny.
Dude, did you hear that one that he does about, like, he says instead of good time, he says great time?
But he's leaving, so screw it. This Christmas, I'm inaugurating the Chris Licht commemorative beer flume. And on a personal note, Chris, 6 years ago, when I met Chris over drinks, he seemed right for the job. But, and this is true, I wasn't sure whether I would like him. If we would...
What do you think about that?
That he wasn't sure if he would like him at first?
What do you think that? What do you think that really means?
I think he was like, man, I don't know if as a comedian and an artist, I've always been about like my own creativity and telling my own jokes and saying the things that I want to say. I'm just not sure having another guy come in here and tell me what to do and what to joke about and what's okay to laugh at and what's not is going to be good for me. But then he told me that really great one about when he was like, it's not good, it's great. And then I was like, yeah, he knows what he's doing.
He's our man. Tell the woohoo lady to go home. I'm going to woohoo today.
Give her the night off.
Tell her Colbert's doing the old woohoo tonight. No, yeah, I agree. He did a thing recently. I forget what who was interviewing him, and they asked him like, what's the thing your fans would be most surprised to know about you? And his response was the number of things that I agreed or that I said as my old character and meant, which I thought was very, very interesting. Considering that everything he says now is the opposite of anything his character would ever say. As a matter of fact, he wouldn't dare do his character now. I think he sees it as like a hateful kind of, or I don't even think he thinks that. I just think he thinks that people would think that. He has said it a lot that like, I couldn't do that character now. But it's like, why?
Because
Why?
then I wouldn't get a paycheck.
Well, that's true.
That's why. I think it has much less to do with whether or not he actually feels like it's valid comedy and more to do with, is this going to make people perceive me as unlikable, as whatever ist you want to, label him as. And all of those things mean the potential to not make money.
Yeah. I agree. So is that that's got to be bad for art. Because was there ever a time that good art is what succeeded, or is it always what profited is what succeeded? And then also, I guess I'm asking you 3 questions here, but how often is it that what is good art is what is profitable? I guess good art is subjective, right?
Yeah, I think it's subjective.
But there's a level of objectivity to it, is there not? We used to use being a sellout as a good barometer, but now I guess that doesn't exist anymore, does it?
I mean, I think what constitutes good art is subjective. I think certain aspects of adhering to things that will, being driven by like money-making aspects, I think will lead you to taking less creative chances. So often the art that comes out of that just is less interesting. Mm-hmm. Again, it's subjective, so I'm sure there's still people who do enjoy that. But
what about authenticity? Could one say that authenticity is what lends itself to good art, or are there people that just really, I guess you can never say what is good art and what is bad art, can you?
I don't think you can, because I think everybody's definition will be different. For some people that definition may include authenticity. It might that could be a component of it, but for other people maybe it doesn't have anything to do with authenticity. Maybe it's all about like innovation and novelty.
Well, can we call them stupid at least?
You can call whatever you want.
We can't call that bad art, but can we call it can we call those people that like it dumb?
Yeah, you can call them whatever you want.
No, I mean, I do think that like
your parents don't get to tell you what you can and can't call other people who have terrible taste in things. You call them whatever you want. Nobody's gonna stop you.
I mean, in the last few years, there's definitely been a bunch of like comedy specials and comedians and shows that I personally feel like, well, these are going downhill. It's not as funny. SNL feels a lot less funny than it ever was, with maybe the exception of like Michael Che and Colin Jost doing Weekend Update on occasion. and
Well, I think-
I want to say, well, to each their own. If this is what people who are younger enjoy, and it speaks to them in some capacity, then it's still art, right? It's still art that speaks to somebody. But doesn't everything from like, let's say before 2010, throughout our lives, good art was pretty authentic, and for the most part, that's what was successful, was like really authentic kind of stuff. Or maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, depends on what you mean by successful, because I think most things that, if you think about like mainstream success, I think it always has an
element
of adhering to the things that are safe that will make money versus the things that may be authentic or innovative, because those tend to be riskier.
So how do things like
But to the SNL thing, I'm not sure that the younger audience is the audience for SNL right now. I think the SNL audience is like 40-year-old,
Women.
daytime soap watching women. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And I think that audience in particular tends to desire, the safer kind of comedic stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they like their own worldviews to be validated through whatever they're watching.
Yeah.
They want people to agree with them. They don't want to be challenged.
Yeah. Yeah. And that feels like the majority of comedy right now. I would say Colbert feels that way. A lot of these late shows feel that way, where they're going for the clapter as opposed to like making a really intelligent joke.
And I don't want to say that's all 40-year-old plus women that's what their taste is.
Yeah.
But
and I don't want to say our taste is perfect, right?
No.
I mean, earlier we just laughed at. Earlier I said, "I'm Putin." Oh no! Don't spank my pooter. Oh, and that I find that hilarious, but it's not smart by any means. It's goofy.
Speak for yourself, dude. I think a good pooter joke is really smart.
But if I was like, "I'm Putin," oh no, my pooter. But I have a friend and she's non-binary, and this part's not a joke. I want to tell everyone that non-binary people suffer from depression at a higher rate than cis white males. Cis white males are part of the problem. You understand what I'm saying here? That it takes a turn from like not funny to just saying something that is preaching to the choir, that everyone's already gonna like kind of agree, especially your specific audience.
Well, you'd just be like, yeah, well, okay, what else is new? That's all I'm sitting there waiting for is, okay, yeah, what of it?
Yeah. Well, I am very wary of media people who use like emotions, or like use emotions to kind of like manipulate like what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's why like going back to like the Russia-Ukraine stuff too. Like I'm very wary of like sad stories and like sob stories and things that are used to kind of manipulate your emotions. Because
but also like not just sob stories. If you're talking about Ukraine stuff, it's also the like the weird underdog, almost too amazing to be true. So almost, because there's a lot of stories that have been coming out that sound like they're almost taken from like a movie script of things that have happened, and then I think people are coming out and kind of like debunking them left and right. So I think it's preying on the sad stuff, but also on like, because people want to see underdogs triumph over the David and Goliath kind of stories. That like archetypal narrative plays really well with people. Like it like pulls at something inside of people.
Yeah, but is it bad that my first instinct is like you're trying to manipulate me? As soon as I feel you trying to play on my emotions, I feel like you're trying to sell me something.
Is that a bad thing to be skeptical of the things that you're seeing in the news
Yes.
and the emotions that you're feeling immediately? I think that's probably a good thing.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not a great thing.
I think you're asking the wrong person because I'm equally as skeptical and cynical as you. So to me, I think it's a good thing.
Right.
But what the hell do I know? I could be wrong.
Well, I don't want to be the guy. I wouldn't want to be the guy in the middle of the Holocaust saying like, "Oh, they're just like pulling at our heartstrings." It's just sob stories about like, you know what I'm saying though? Like when the news is actually sad. How can I tell the difference between they're trying to like play with my emotions and make me upset about a thing and playing up a story so that I will feel a certain way about it, or is it just truly a sad thing happened and it makes me sad?
Well, I think you have to decipher whether or not the actual story is truth or fiction.
Yeah, but Lauren, that's hard. That means I have to do research on my own, and then I have to determine what the facts are in the story
it's really hard.
and what the opinions are in the story.
I know, it's really hard. So first you have to determine, is it fact, is it fiction? Then you can determine now the emotion associated with, if it is indeed a fact.
Yes.
Then you go, okay, is the emotion associated with this fact warranted, or is this trying to get me to lead me in a certain point of view?
Well, it's even harder than that because it's not as much as reading an article and then saying like, is this fact or is this opinion? It's looking at each individual aspect of the article and trying to figure out if it's fact or it's opinion. Yeah. I mean, every part of the story can be played up, and some parts may be, and some parts might not be.
Yeah.
It's
what does this mean? What does this mean?
Like, what do you trust? How do you trust anything at all?
I don't.
How do you trust? I know, exactly. That's the hard thing, though. And then, like, okay, well, people turn to independent media, like online. Like, people turn to like long form conversations with like Joe Rogan will have on a scientist talking about. But they're people and they make mistakes too. Like, so I think that's like difficult. Growing up, you want to think that there is like a definitive like source of information and that it's all very easy. It's easy to know what the truth is. It's just there's a definitive source and the CDC is it, and it knows what the truth is, right? But I don't think that exists at all, really. There is no unbiased source of information at all.
Except
other than maybe history books. And even then, you go to Texas and they're like, they completely rewrite history in certain areas of Texas. They'll have textbooks that are completely false. But I just saying, but the majority of like history books will kind of tell you the facts of what happened throughout history. But in the moment, you can't ever know.
Yeah.
Or you can be an asshole and pretend like you do know.
Well, I'll tell you who's an unbiased and always truthful source of information, and that's Chris Licht.
Chris Licht,
and that's why he's going to CNN.
That's why he's the man.
He's the man. He has really great jokes. He's like super cool. He does these super cool like dances. He's just like, he's totally awesome, dude. He's like so awesome. Like,
oh man,
you're jealous you're not his friend.
That's true. I am jealous. I'm not Chris Licht's friend. Colbert might love him for the man he is. You know what? I gotta say, I also love him for the man he is. And if you can't woohoo that, I don't know what you can woohoo. All right. You good to wrap it up?
I'm good to wrap it up.
All right. Well, thank you very much for listening.
Are we gonna say the things we learned? Isn't that what you've been wanting us to do? Oh,
yeah, you're right. We have been saying what we learned. All right. What'd you learn?
I learned that the woohoo lady, she love a good bowl of borscht.
Oh, man. These are always callbacks, and then you take the callback I want. I'm like, obviously, I want to be the woohoo lady. Maybe we both learned that today. We both learned that the woohoo lady. We learned what makes that woohoo lady woohoo. That's
you know
the
what
thing.
I actually learned? I learned that there's a little woohoo lady in all of us. there really truly is.
And the point of life is to find out what makes your woohoo lady woohoo. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. We're gonna end there. You can't get better than that.
Goodbye.
Bye.